Hi, PerspectiveWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Wednesday, April 21st. Quite an interesting next 24 hours or so in the Mid-Atlantic region. We have a strong cold front that will slide through the region later on in the day during the afternoon hours. Could spark a strong thunderstorm or two, maybe even a severe thunderstorm along the eastern seaboard, places like New Jersey. Later on in the afternoon, and then a much colder than normal air mass will pour into the region, the Mid-Atlantic region, in the overnight hours, riding in on strong northwesterly winds, and temperatures by tomorrow morning in the immediate I-95 corridor region will be right around the freezing mark in many locations, especially out in the suburbs to the north and west of the big cities. Certainly there's a threat for some sensitive vegetation early tomorrow morning, as again temperatures will flirt with the freezing mark in many spots in the Mid-Atlantic region, and this will be repeated late Thursday night going into Friday morning with many low temperatures in the low and middle 30s in the immediate I-95 corridor region. This is a map from coolweather.com that shows the near record or record lows this morning, Wednesday morning, and look at this. It really is an expansive area of very cold relative to normal conditions for this time of the year. This, of course, is not good news for many crops that have started to grow out in the heartland of the country, and this kind of a pattern should set up right in this region by tomorrow morning. We will see many near record or record lows, I'm sure, in the Mid-Atlantic region, the northeast U.S., the eastern part of the Ohio Valley early tomorrow morning. So today, showing up right here in the heartland, and after the cold frontal passage, a lot of near record or record lows probably coming to the Mid-Atlantic and northeast U.S. by early tomorrow morning. Well, in terms of temperatures for the I-95 corridor region and the rest of the Mid-Atlantic, northeast U.S., just taking a look here and a high-resolution forecast map. This is from the 3-kilometer resolution version of the NAM model for 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. Temperatures, surface temperatures at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, and look at some of these readings here. 28 degrees here in, let's say, Chester County, Pennsylvania. 30 degrees just north of the District of Columbia. 28 degrees just north of New York City, and this is the freezing line right in this region right here. So again, cutting right through the I-95 corridor region, temperatures at or even slightly below the freezing mark, and that's quite unusual for this time in the month of April. And again, there are very likely to be some near record or record lows by early tomorrow morning, and throughout the northeast U.S., interior northeast U.S. and Mid-Atlantic region, temperatures liable to fall way down into the 20s in many locations. Again, the record cold or near record cold this morning out across the heartland of the U.S., the central states, and all that shifts into the east by tomorrow morning. Well, what about the threat for a severe thunderstorm later on this afternoon in the I-95 corridor region? It's a possibility. More likely, the location of any severe thunderstorm activity later today will be near the eastern seaboard, places like coastal New Jersey down along the eastern side of the Delmarva Peninsula. It's the timing of the front that is important here, and the timing is not great if you're north and west of the I-95 corridor region. That means not great for instability. The best instability will be at the highest, the peak of the daytime heating later in the afternoon if the front were to arrive at that particular time. It looks like it may come a little bit earlier than that from I-95 corridor to the west. But again, this region right here, let's say maybe New York City down across coastal New Jersey and coastal Delmarva Peninsula, there certainly is a possibility of a severe thunderstorm, and in the rest of the I-95 corridor region, maybe a strong thunderstorm as this front slides on through. Again, the main action will be in the afternoon, and any potential thunderstorm will be likely midday or afternoon hours, all clearing out by the time we get to the early part of the evening, and that's when the colder air really pours in to the I-95 corridor region, riding in on strong northwest winds. And let's take a look at the thinking at the Storm Prediction Center of NOAA. This is based out in Norman, Oklahoma, the branch of NOAA that deals with severe weather probabilities. And again, it tends to agree that the best chance of a severe thunderstorm will be along the coastal sections of New Jersey down to the Delmarva Peninsula, extreme southeastern Virginia. And again, that's because of the timing of the front. The front reaches the coastal sections during the peak heating time of the day, mid to late afternoon hours. North and west of I-95 corridor kind of comes through earlier than that, so there won't be that chance for the atmosphere to really destabilize. There's a marginal threat all the way back into D.C., Philadelphia, for a strong, maybe an isolated severe thunderstorm that far west. But again, the best chance for a severe thunderstorm later today will be right along the coast, and that could include damaging wind gusts, maybe even some small hail. Well, let's take a look at the high-resolution NAM model. This is a 3-kilometer resolution version of the NAM, and that frontal system is kind of stalled out right at the moment across the western section of PA. It'll kind of wait for upper-level energy to swing on through to start sliding to the east, and here that low-pressure area will just move forward in hourly increments. Once that low-pressure system moves to the north and east, that front will start to make a move and slide across Pennsylvania, across the Virginias, from the west to the east. Look at this, cold enough for snow in much of the day in the far interior sections of the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast U.S. And then we'll start to see here a line of storms starts to form right around the I-95 corridor region, let's say during the early afternoon hours, and it intensifies a little bit by the time it gets to the coastal section. So again, best chance for a severe thunderstorm today will be New York City, New Jersey, eastern part of the Delmarva Peninsula, and down to southeastern Virginia. Maybe an isolated strong to severe thunderstorm back to the I-95 corridor region. Then that front slides on through. We have clearing skies by early tonight in D.C., Philadelphia, New York City. Strong northwest winds, much colder air pours into the region. Again, temperatures by tomorrow morning will be at or even slightly below the freezing mark in the immediate I-95 corridor region. This is the forecast map for 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. Look at the thickness. Very low for this time of the year to see thickness values. The 540 thickness all the way down into the Carolinas. That's an impressive cold air outbreak, and by impressive I mean we will see, no doubt in my mind, many near record or record lows in this part of the nation early tomorrow morning. And it's quite impressive to get down to freezing late tonight, early tomorrow in the immediate I-95 corridor region with strong winds. That really means the air mass itself is very cold. When you have clear, calm conditions, you have a little better chance this time of the year getting down to the freezing mark, and that could kind of happen Thursday night into Friday morning. Winds will start to die down late Thursday night going into Friday morning, and we could get back down in the low to mid 30s in the I-95 corridor region. But in the cold advection time period later on tonight into early tomorrow with strong northwest winds, we still have a chance of getting down to freezing in D.C., Philadelphia, New York City. And then by Friday, temperatures start to moderate, and we'll look ahead. This is the Thursday evening forecast map. Again, another very cold night. Winds will tend to diminish in the overnight hours as this high pressure area moves into the Mid-Atlantic region. And again, by Friday morning, again, there could be some near record or record lows throughout the northeastern part of the nation. And finally, temperatures will begin the moderating process Friday afternoon, and we'll be back up in the 60s, D.C., Philadelphia, New York City this upcoming weekend. But there will be a strong low-pressure system that looks like it'll push probably a soaking rain event into the Mid-Atlantic Saturday night going into the morning on Sunday. And then later next week, a big warm-up is coming. And certainly I could see 75 or even 80 degrees by the time we get to the middle part of next week in much of the Mid-Atlantic and much of the eastern part of the U.S. should experience a big warm-up later next week. That's it for now for PerspectiveWeather.com. I'm meteorologist Paul Dorian.